Now he says later in the video, it's so stupid to have a nation of man and woman. And I'm like, what the fuck is a nation composed of? Is it composed of amoebas? Is it composed of other planets?
So,
more so, what is a nation led by? In fact, in history, the modern world we live in today, nations are only defined by the landmass that they took. So if anything, do we be jerks and just say nation of Mecca? If we were doing it that way. So you're lucky we don't do it that way. Nation, though, this is something Savior Knowledge used to always say. Savior should always say, nation comes from the Latin root nacer, where Spanish words like nació, born, come from. Nacer means birthright. When we say our birthright, our nation then can be defined as who we are.
Right, I guess it's not, when you say God and earth, it's not inclusive of...
Here's why I say it's inclusive, right? If we say 5% nation and God and earth, 5% nation is not inclusive of anything. Because if we really, really teach, though, then everybody will know it. Will no longer be teachers of that. You see, there is a day when the 5% nation will not exist. Because if we actually taught everybody, whether they decide to deal with this or not, because it's their choice, not ours. But everybody will know this, though, as a fact. If it is a fact, there is no destiny where it will not be all known.
So you say it will turn into like 100%?
I'm saying there is no destiny that can be written. It's just a matter of time where this fact will be known. It's just a matter of time. So to say that we're 5%ers, though, what 5%er exists, though, when everybody knows that the black man is God?
Okay, well, now that's interesting, because that's going into
so
the signs.
You could say that the name of the nation he gave is very temporary.
Yeah, well,
I'm just
okay. That's just okay.
I'm getting super philosophical with it.
No, because I want to go there with you, right? Philosophical, right? It's just about being philosophical, because I see, even in this nation, there's a 85%, there's a 10%, and there's a 5%. There's a 5% of the 5%.
Yeah.
Right? There are those who are really teachers, who are really about, who truly
and, sometimes I don't always see it that way, right?
But then there are people who are about, I want to get paid.
Right.
And they may not necessarily be like rich slave makers of the poor, but they are ambitious and money.
Because the knowledge itself, if used wisely, it can amp up your charisma. It could do all of these things. You know what I mean? And your awareness.
I asked a cipher one time, like, what about the 85% of yourself? Right? Like, and the 10% of yourself, the 5% of yourself. So now we're getting really philosophical, right? We're really going there with that. You know what I'm saying? So these are the questions that these are the questions that we ask ourselves.
I think this, right? Nation of Gods and Earth the name was made so people know exactly who we are. I find it right and exact because our birthright is of who we are. No matter, our nation includes everyone, right? Technically, every nation includes more than they say. Like America includes more than just the Americans. Every nation does the same. So it doesn't matter. Who would have dominion and leadership in Nation of Gods and Earths? Would it be just righteous people, or would it be true and living gods and earths? Let's keep it real. It's a nation. It's going to be the gods and the earths.
Yeah, but what about the white people, though?
We're God of the whole universe, though. But you're worried about a nation putting God first. That shit is funny to me. And his idea of a nation being called man or woman is... There's no nation not composed of man and woman. So, that distinction of God and earth, that's exactly what we teach the world. The distinction of what man and woman really is with respect to the universe and all creation. So how is it ridiculous? He hasn't thought this out. He has only explained this to adhere to what he is adhering to. He has not thought this out in all of its situations. So I know that people like that aren't going into universities. He said you go to universities and everything like that and speak about this stuff. I want to see proof. I want to see the papers, because when people say papers, there are papers discussing my own work. I don't even have to show you my papers. There are scholarly papers discussing my work. You know what I'm saying? There are books out there with my work in it. So I'm tired of people saying that it's insufficient, it doesn't work in the real world, when what we're doing is the only shit that's being done in this real world. It's wild to me. Nation of gods and earths, right? That's the only name that's been used in the world that we are tapping into. Let's keep it real. What world have they tapped into?
You mean what world are the 5% tapped into?
If you people that are hearing say, no nation of gods and earths know this stuff.
Oh, the people who say that, you say.
Where has the name 5% nation, which is fine for describing us, right? Where has that name traveled to that it has adhered on larger scales outside of this nation in the 85 world, the place that we're supposed to be teaching? These are questions I give. Because the books that are useful, Star Mail's trilogy, the Supreme Understanding works, all these things, what words are they using? Because I know Supreme Understanding don't really care for nation of gods and earth. You know what I mean?
Well, look, listen, God, for me, like when I teach this, I teach about the 5%, right? I don't necessarily go into the nation of gods and earth or the NGE, right? I actually don't really like the NGE, thing. Like
the acronym of it.
The acronym. No good eaters.
Sounds like a college food.
Right. No good eaters and whatnot. I don't really, subscribe to that. But I don't have a beef with it because, like I said, I it's clear that it was the 5% that taught the nation of gods and earths, right? So to backbite that or to have beef with that is almost like to have beef with my own works. You see what I'm saying? So I have to now, if there's something that I think that is poor, right, that needs to be developed, well then that means that there's work to be done. Mm-hmm. But I don't have beef with it.
Yeah, I think this, look, I find the adherence to Hadith, in this sense, debilitating. Forget about Nation of Gods and Earth, right, that name. What's the name, though, that could best describe us, though, where there's no confusion? That's why I gave the story about peace versus As-salamu alaykum. The Father wanted us to teach the youth without confusion. I've never fallen into confusion when I describe this that way. You know what I'm saying? Universities that I go to, jobs that I'm at, though, lectures that I give, everywhere I go.
So that's why I say I don't have a beef.
No one is confused.
I don't have a beef.
They know exactly what we are, and they don't confuse us with
we are a nation.
Muslims, Nation Islam, or other Islamic sects of any kind.
So we are a nation of gods and earths. We are. That's composed.
We literally are.
Yeah. We're composed.
We literally are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
However, we do have Caucasians that we don't identify.
Are they not under this though? Are they not under the knowledge of self?
Yeah. Well, so I'm saying, okay. So I would.
Everything's under God and earth then.
Oh, they're under God and earth.
Is not the universe created by God?
Right.
So now it's a problem to have a nation?
I thought it was universal.
The whole universe. If though other people, white people get knowledge, they're gonna understand like, yo, we made this whole damn universe though. We could definitely be in the nation of God and earth. You'd be okay with that, right? Because the whole universe we done made. We could make the whole universe, but we can't make the nation that name. It's just mind-blowingly idiotic to me and just clever, trying to be clever, but it's not well thought out. It's not well thought out. And the experience of using this though is about clarity. This is why I'm okay with the name. I have always used it. It's clarity. I like 5% Nation of Gods and Earth. Let's put everything in a jumbo, since we're always so obsessed with that. Since education is our foremost institution at this moment in time, right? Let everybody know this is what we are. But 5% Nation is very fleeting. If we teach the way we're supposed to, then we don't exist. We will dissolve.
I want to make this a redundant question. Would Allah, in this day and time, go around having beef with a nation of gods and earths? What he had beef with? Power, refinement.
For them,
culture.
They have to believe
that
he would, or else they would not be doing this stuff.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
But if you study the man's mindset,
he didn't have that type of.
He didn't have.
I'll give you an example.
Said that.
I'll give you an example of how he expected the youth to change things. A proof. Firstborn Prince, though, we're fixing actual facts. I tell him, God, the last degree, the inches is wrong. 68, whatever, it's a wrong number. It's got parts where it's got parts where you're multiplying inches by feet or something, like wrong. You can't multiply two measurements by each other. And we had the correct one, the 790 quadrillion.
Yes,
right? We had to get the square number. He's okay, put that in. And I said, God, Prince, why didn't they fix it back then? Because it's clearly like computed wrong. Like even if you don't know the number, if you look at the computation, you know that you did it wrong, right?
No, it's not
Firstborn Prince told me, he said, God, the father knew that we had to have something, right? But he said that the babies would be great and that they would fix it. He expected us to fix things that were fucked up, that were wrong, that would make it better. You know what I'm saying? That it's okay to better things, to make it more clear. We're teachers though, 5% nation. How are you so anti not being a teacher that seeks clarity in all of their dealings?
But then
No, you have to learn it the way I learned it.
Hold on. But my thing is, TC, you're talking about firstborn.
I get to be a dick, because you're not gonna fucking insult me and do backhanded passive aggressive shit. If I turned and that's showing proof and walked around the corner and was in that cipher, none of that shit would be said. None of that shit would be said. We would have to have a discourse, because you're not insulting me in front of me. You're not doing if you use nation of God's earth, I don't know what you're doing. We're not in a period piece though. I'm not going to use a fancy wording to say, well, I never. And take my macaroons and tea and walk out. We're not doing that. And they know when it goes too far where we can go. But this needs to be, that's not civil what was there, and it's not true that it was just for jails. Just to adapt to jails and be so dismissive of the worthiness of those that are in jail.
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mecca did this.